Our next guest has a lot riding on Apple's earnings. The 2017 Stock Draft trophy hangs in the balance. There, it's a beautiful piece of hardware, Kevin. Kevin O'Leary, co-host of Shark Tank and chairman of O-Shares ETFs. Let's talk a little bit about Apple. It has been one of your two stock picks, Boeing the other one. We'll get to that one in a minute. Did Apple overprice the iPhone 10?
That is the debate that is certainly going to go after these earnings report comes on, because no matter how you cut it, people are going to be disappointed in how many units were sold. That's clear. I mean, even the Qualcomm data gave you some indication that it's not stratospheric growth on that. On the other hand, look at the margins.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no margins like that anywhere else in consumer electronics, anywhere in the world. And so my premise here is, if we get soft numbers, I don't think it's going to hurt the bottom line or the cash flow. It's going to be the forward guidance that will determine whether the stock trades down after tomorrow. But frankly, any company that can maintain that kind of margin has never existed before. You look at the price points of consumer electronics in any category, within 18 months, they're down by 40, 50% because there's so much competition. Apple did something that's never happened before, ever. They've created a brand that people want and they're willing to pay for over and over and over again.
But if the demand for an iPhone 10 isn't as strong as expected, don't you question whether or not Apple is continuing to create something that people are willing to pay for over and over and over again?
I think what people are going to miss is you have to look at aggregate the 8 and the 10, because the 8 actually took some of the demand away from the 10. If you didn't want the face...
Sounds like you're explaining this away.
Well, I want to win this friggin' contest, okay? So if I have to single-handedly support this stock through Friday night, I'm going to. But these are my premises about Apple anyways, as an owner of the stock, because if you had not had an 8, remember, you're talking about no face recognition, nobody cared about the 8. The camera was a little down market, but nobody cared. I know lots of people have bought the 8 and are happy with the performance of it. They never bought the 10. So you have to look in aggregate at the margins. I still go with my margin story. No company's ever pulled this off.
Kevin, my question would be this. So Pete Najarian makes this point. Tim Seymour, one of your main competitors in this whole thing, makes this point as well. iPhone 10, interesting, but it's about the revenue mix. And what I mean by that is, if service revenue continues to trend higher and you can get service revenues to high teens or even low 20% of overall revenue, won't then Apple get a better multiple, a premium multiple compared to basically the hardware company that the market's pricing them at now?
I made that assumption when it was near 10%. I assumed that we get PE expansion on Apple when we were in that 8.5% on services, and then it blew through one quarter to 11. Didn't happen. People are still pricing a discount into Apple as a consumer electronics stock, even as they sit there in disbelief watching these margins be maintained quarter to quarter. The issue is, does services get to 25%? Then you have to be a believer. Then you got to give this thing a Boeing-like multiple, because Boeing's turned its business into avionics subscription services. And they've traded up as a result of saying, look at this incredibly high margin business we've created and look at it grow. Apple's done the same thing, but people hate consumer electronics. It's not a tech company, but I'd argue Apple's actually a retailer. It's a real estate company. It's a tech company. It's a services business. It's all these things.
It's cloud. It's everything.
It's trading at a ridiculously low PE.
Let's turn to Boeing. When you picked Boeing, did you have any sense that it was going to turn in the kind of stock market performance that it has? You can be modest, or you can be bold.
You know, I'm going. If I win on Monday, I'm going to disclose how I did this. And people are going to be really surprised.
How you chose Boeing.
Because it's going to start a huge debate. I'm going to just tease it. It's going to cause a big problem for people who make a living picking stocks. And I'm going to prove to the market on Monday that I have found a better way.
I'll tell you exactly what I'm going to tell him right now, Tyler. It's a cash flow thing. It's cash. It's all about cash. Look, he knows I'm right. You see, I teased your tease, and I'm correct. And you're 100% right with that.
I want to cause a storm on Monday, and I want to throw the gauntlet out on Monday. Right? If I win that thing, I'm going to throw the gauntlet out, and we are going to have this debate all over the air. It's not going to be pretty. I'm teasing it right now. But I think, look, it's going to be tough to beat me. You got a real...
Yeah, can we put the numbers back up there? I want to see the standings, because I think you've got a 7-point lead. It's almost like Man City in the Premier League right now.
Well, let me do a little trash talk. I'm going to crush them like the cockroaches they are.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
I mean, that is mean-spirited.
This is not WWE.
Wait,
Look at
you're
that.
from Canada, though. I know we're probably up. No, I want to say one thing to you.
I'm a global
Listen,
investor. I'm
but
Irish,
you
too.
are from Canada,
Yes, I
meaning
am.
you're a hockey fan, as am I.
Yes.
There's a superstition in hockey that
Yeah.
you don't touch the Prince of Wales trophy before you get to the Stanley Cup. You are
he
either
was
touching
all
that thing.
He was
over that.
massaging the bull.
All over that.
You were massaging
And you're
the
absolutely,
bull.
you're right. I was just shining it up because I wanted to look really great on my desk when it arrives there. The issue is what happens with Apple earnings, because that could take me out of the game. We don't know.
It really
if it's a
could.
disaster, it could take me
It
out of the
really
game.
It ain't
Good.
over till it's
But
over.
that's why I think it's going to be interesting.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.